There's a new quarterback inside the transfer portal that Ohio State needs to pursue, and his name is Malik Murphy.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The transfer portal is hot. Seems like every day there's more and more action, and a new quarterback recently entered the portal that Ohio State needs to pursue. Welcome in, Buckeye fans, to a Friday edition of Locked On Buckeyes here on Friday, December 15th in the year 2023. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. We're still waiting to figure out what quarterback Ohio State snags in the transfer portal, because that's exactly what needs to happen. They need to go out there and snag one. Malik Murphy recently entered the portal, and I believe he possesses the skill set that Ohio State needs from their QB1. Think about what Ohio State currently has in their quarterback room as far as what is potentially going to be their starting quarterback next year. You got Devin Brown, little experience, only played 7 games. You got Lincoln Kienholz, only played 2 games. And if you want to add in Aaron Noland, who's coming to the school in January, he ain't played a down. So you have very little experience there on the roster. What do we know about the 2 guys that are currently at Ohio State? Not much. Not much at all. You can say you're a Devin Brown guy. You can say you're a Lincoln Kienholz guy. Why? Based on the high school film. You don't have much to hold on to as far as what they've done inside of a Buckeye uniform, so you don't really have that argument. But when it comes to Malik Murphy, he has more experience. He has a skill set in an arm that Ryan Day wants his starting quarterback to have. And ultimately, he is a guy that was recently at a school that's quarterback room is loaded. And with that loaded quarterback room and him not being a bigger piece of the pie next year, he could easily come to Ohio State, show off a little bit, let his arm loose, do the things that he does very well, and be a starting quarterback at Ohio State. Now, some of you might be saying, Jay, hold on. Have you heard about Cam Ward? Actually, I have. I have heard about Cam Ward. You may say, Jay, have you heard about X or Y or Z? There is a lot of stuff out there. It's on the interweb. I have seen it. I have looked at it. I have done all of those things. That does not mean that when somebody else recently comes in that might fit what you need and what you want more from your QB1 than a guy who's currently in there, you just say, oh, that other option, forget that. Not going to do it. You don't do that. What do? You try to exhaust every option in your arsenal, every option that you can, to make sure that whoever your starting quarterback is next year, you've done everything to get the guy that's out there and available that makes your offense be everything you want it to be. This year's offense wasn't it at all, and it wasn't all on the quarterback. He was a good quarterback. I'm not going to say he was a bad quarterback, but he was still making mistakes in games 11 and 12 and even 10 and 9 that should have been eliminated in games 4 and 5 and 6. Those are easy statements to make. And so when it comes to Malik Murphy, he does have more starts under his belt than both Lincoln Kienholz and Devin Brown. So, bam, you got that. Not much experience from Malik Murphy. He is a true freshman this year. I know it hurt him and pained him. He didn't want to leave Texas before the playoff game, and I get it. Like, the transfer portal happening right now is stupid. It's absolutely stupid. And I understand why players like Kyle McCord, that we'll talk about later in the show, leave right now in the beginning of December because of the calendar. The calendar is dumb. Why in the world would you have this portion of the sport happen right now before any bowl game has been played? It's stupid. It's dumb. So you're going to have the portal open, and then you're going to have the early signing day. What does that do? Make things really hard for the players that are on these teams that are contemplating staying or leaving. It's really hard on them. But for Malik Murphy, I've already crossed off one thing. He has more experience. He started 2 games at Texas. He actually has more passing yards than both Devin Brown and Lincoln Kienholz combined on the season. His freshman year at Texas, 477 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, had 2 starts. In one of those games, had over 200 passing yards, had one touchdown, had a couple touchdowns in the other start that he had. Hey, I get it. In Texas's quarterback room, it is loaded. You got Quinn Ewers. You got Malik Murphy, stands at 6'5", about 240 pounds, a big, strong individual that I think Ryan Day would say, hey, 6'5", 240, that big arm, being able to stand in the pocket and have pretty good pocket awareness. Hey, we want that here. We want that skill set here. More passing yards than both Keon Holtz and Devin Brown combined. More experience, 2 starts. He came from a school in Texas where Steve Sarkisian is a phenomenal quarterback coach, a phenomenal offensive mind. So it's not like he wasn't already at a big brand with a coach that is well respected in the sport. So there's so many things to highlight and to hit. And one thing he wanted to do was stay at Texas, but when the room was loaded, hey, he wanted to leave. So you may want to say, Jake, Ohio State's quarterback room is going to be loaded too. And I think it's a little bit different. Quinn Ewers, some of y'all might still not like that name, and I get it, but he's still a factor here. Quinn Ewers is the starting quarterback right now at Texas. There's a realistic opportunity for him to be at Texas next year. So do you think that in the offseason it will be Malik Murphy and Arch Manning battling for the backup spot? Yes. Do you think Sarkisian might be leaning more Arch Manning's way? By the name, you would. By production, we don't know what happens in practice, so we aren't able to answer that. But if he feels the quarterback room is loaded there with a guy in front of him that is really experienced, you have a Manning behind you who is really talented, go somewhere else. Go to a big brand, go to a place you can start right away. There might be some competition, but that's normal. You go in there, do your thing, and make everything happen right there when you get there. You have to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. When you're the new guy there, you have to come in and instantly make your mark. Think about this. You move into a new town. You have a membership at the YMCA. Your membership at the YMCA comes with the YMCA gym, basketball gym, not the weight room where the weights are, the treadmills and the Stairmaster and all of that stuff. No. You go to the basketball gym, get you a basketball, may bring yours in or get one at the front counter. You go in there, you start hooping, and you're the new guy. It's a Saturday morning, 10 a.m., and they already running 5-on-5. You're like, oh, I want to get in on this, but I don't know anybody. So how in the world do you get on the court? I got next. Okay, cool. But then all of a sudden, once you get on the court, how do you stay on the court if your team loses? You make a mark right then when you're right there on the court that first game. So Malik Murphy, hey, Ohio State's kind of like that YMCA for him if he comes to Ohio State. And I definitely think Ohio State definitely needs to pursue him. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Unless there's an announcement very, very soon that a certain quarterback in the portal is committing to Ohio State, you go out there and pursue him as much as you can. You have to. It's just what you do right now. You need to add a quarterback to your room. We talked about that earlier in the week. We're going to talk about it again next week and the week after, and probably until it actually happens. But back to the story. Malik Murphy is kind of like that guy going to the YMCA. You go to a new spot. You have to instantly make your mark. Do I think he can do it? Absolutely. I absolutely think he can make his mark. Do I think his experience in being at Texas specifically help him going to a big-time brand like Ohio State? Absolutely. Do I think Ryan Day will choose the right quarterback and the best quarterback to be the quarterback next year, game number 1? That's a different conversation. Because right now, but even going in the next year, I think who I think will be the starting quarterback, let's just say fast forward to the move forward to the spring. Let's just say that the guy who I think is going to be QB1 in the fall, if I'm in the spring projecting, my projection might not be what Ryan Day does. And I don't know if Ryan Day is going to instantly make a new guy automatically the starter unless he has a lot of experience at another school. That's a different conversation for another day. However, Malik Murphy, if he goes to Ohio State, commits to Ohio State, yes, he can start. His skill set is good, has a big arm, that big sturdy frame that Ohio State wants and needs, adds a wrinkle to the offense. Ryan Day, Corey Dennis, Hartline, all those offensive coaches, you need to pursue this young man. Now, pursuing him is one thing, But how does bringing Malik Murphy, potentially bringing him in, impact the quarterback room at Ohio State? We'll dive into that next on Locked On Buckeyes. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is a fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. See the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. All-in prices, show your total up front, so you know you're getting a great deal without hidden fees. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel found only at the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Anytime you bring a new player to a team, especially from the transfer portal, there is the potential of it shaking up that positioning room. May it be the quarterback room or the running back room or the defensive line room, whatever it is, there is the potential of bringing in a guy that shakes up the room for the better or for the worse. And those are ideal situations that realistically could happen. Ryan Day needs to weigh all the options, but when it comes to bringing a quarterback in, think about how it might impact the room, but still bring him in. Don't let the potential of a downward spiral in the culture in a room keep you from bringing in a guy who you believe will make your team better. I understand culture, and it takes a long time to build culture and to cultivate that thing. But right now, Ohio State's not in a situation, in a position where they can say, oh, keeping the culture the same is what needs to happen. I think the culture is in a good spot. I think it can get better. But I think if you believe a guy is the right guy for you, shaking things up might be okay. That might be what's needed from you, from the team, to make things better. It shows, hey, one is a coach in Ryan Day. We are willing to do whatever it takes, whatever you need to do to make things better for your team. And I think that shows growth. I mean, we talked about Ryan Day's growth all season long and talked about how he has grown as a coach, how he was comfortable winning via defense and not trying to outscore every opponent out there by 20 plus points. Now, you say, Jay, I'm glad you kept going with that outscore part, because that's the only way to win. You're really smart. Buckeye fans are really smart and know their stuff. Yes, Ryan Day has grown a lot this year. And one thing with growth is maybe realizing, hey, this ain't working. The culture might be good, but something going on here ain't working. And I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to bring in somebody, especially via the transfer portal, somebody that has learned another offensive playbook, somebody that has been coached by other coaches, somebody that I might have to deconstruct some of the things that he was taught to teach him the things that we do here in Columbus. There's pros and cons to bringing somebody in, and there's an potential impact, a positive one, on the quarterback room. Think about this. Think about you bring a guy in from the portal. You quickly get him into the offense. You quickly get him up to speed. He quickly understands everything. And the guys that he might be playing with say, oh, coach, I know there was that guy that you were all in for before, but hey, that dude. This is a guy that needs to lead us in the offense next year. I understand exactly why you may think, hey, that guy, not saying numbers or names, but that guy is a guy that you believe is the guy for us. But hey, look, we ain't letting that slide no more. We're speaking up. We're telling you we're offensive starters. We are the 11 or 10 now, without a quarterback right now, that is going to be leading the offense in the shoe next year. And you know what? There are 3, maybe 4 guys that are in the running for the starting quarterback position at Ohio State. Cool. That's great. But this one guy that you just brought in, he's different. And he is so different that we think, hey, we know you recruited those guys. We know they're talented. We know you like what they saw from them in high school. Got a little bit of run from them and seen a little bit from 2 of them in Columbus. That's all good. That's all great. But this new guy, hey, he needs to start. So that's the potential impact is, hey, you're going to shake things up a little bit and say, oh, shake things up in a positive way. Now, there is a possibility of a guy's transferring. Maybe a guy decommits. That's okay. Cool. That's a sport. That's what you have to deal with. You have to deal with guys that are going to leave. You have to deal with guys that are going to leave your school and say, hey, we recruited you. You were here for 2 years, maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years, maybe 1 year. We recruited you, had a great relationship, great connection, family was great, all of those things. But hey, coach, this just ain't the spot for me. I don't believe I should be here playing football. I'm not going to be here anymore. I'm going to go somewhere else. And that's exactly what might happen, but who cares? That's the nature of the beast. That's the reality of where we are right now with college football. You may say, Jay, I care. Cool. I don't like seeing guys that we watch play, that we enjoy watching play in the shoe and say, oh, nope, they're gone. I don't like seeing that. Y'all know I like Chip Trayanum. He just transferred to Kentucky. Do you think I really like that he's gone? No, but I understand it, and I hope nothing but the best for him. Mayan Williams, that's my guy. I love watching number 3 when the Buckeyes are riding him when he has the ball in his hand. I love that. I love it. But he's gone to the NFL. That's just how things work. Eventually, every player is going to be gone from Ohio State. You could be a 4-year guy. You could say, oh, I came in and I can be here and play 6 years. Great. Cool. But eventually that guy is going to be gone. So yeah, guys might leave. But once again, they're going to leave eventually anyway. Yes, they have to do what's best for them, and you got to do what's best for you and this team. The impact is there. But also, even though there's the impact of it, cool. Georgia felt it when Ohio State brought in Justin Fields. Ryan Day realized it when Justin Fields came in. Now, granted, different situation, but still, you realize that Ryan Day did. Hey, I'm a new coach here. I'm bringing in a new guy. Cool. It could mess things up for the quarterback room. Great. Cool. Quinn Ewers going to reclassify and skip a senior year of high school to come to Ohio State. That's going to shake up things, not just in the quarterback room, but also in your locker room and also on the recruiting trail. It's going to shake things up. Some things you are wanting to happen, some things you don't, but it's just the nature of the beast. There was a question going out about Kyle McCord that I haven't really thought about, but I want to bring it to you next. Did Kyle McCord quit on Ohio State? I answer the question next on Locked On Buckeyes. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Prize Picks is the most fun I've had winning up to 25 times my money this football season. Prize Picks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Go to prizepicks.com/lockedoncollege and use code LOCKEDONCollege for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, go to prizepicks.com/lockedoncollege and use code LOCKEDONCollege for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen or first watch of every single day. If you're looking to get Buckeye news, notes, and updates and analysis sent right to your phone, send a text to 614-587-7853. When you sign up, you will get a 14-day free trial. Did Kyle McCord quit on Ohio State? That's a question that I heard on a radio show, and the producer had one avenue and one thought. The host of the show had a different answer to the question, and I think it's a valid one to ask because it's just the reality of college football and the reality of sports. And I'm not here to shade and slander and say, I'm sitting here throwing rocks at Kyle McCord. No, he felt like he needed to make a move away from Columbus for the rest of his college football career, which is only one more year left, 1 year of eligibility for a guy who only started 1 year. It's really odd. One day in the future, possibly, we'll go through that. But do I think Kyle McCord quit on Ohio State? I don't. I don't think he quit on Ohio State. And this is one that I wrestled with back and forth. And I would say yes if things were a little bit different with the calendar. But I'm only saying he did not quit on Ohio State because the way that the calendar is right now in college football. The transfer portal opened on the Monday after the conference championship games and college football. There were 10 conference championship games the first weekend of December. I believe I know Pac-12 was on Friday night. I don't think there was a second, but if there were, there may have been 2 on that Friday. The rest, which would have been 8 on that Saturday, if that scenario was actually true as far as the numbers of games played on Friday and Saturday. So you have those games played. What do you have? Selection Sunday is that Sunday, 4-hour show for something that doesn't take 4 hours to release. But, hey, they got to make their money. And then all of a sudden, what else you got? The portal opens up on Monday morning. I was literally at work in the morning and looked at my phone, and I was like, whoa, this ain't true. Kyle McCord to the portal. This ain't true. And so I went on Twitter, started searching, because I saw first some On3, reputable source, but I was like, whoa, I know the portal just opened. I'm not sure, and I don't want to believe that Kyle McCord just left. Went 11-1, did some phenomenal things, comeback win against Notre Dame, beat Penn State, beat Wisconsin on the road, had a shot to beat Michigan. He did some really good things this season. So the portal opens up that Monday, and I'm thinking, hey, Ohio State's literally about to have their early signing day period. They're about to prepare for the Cotton Bowl, and their QB1 is gone. Now, my answer would have been yes, he quit on the team if the portal opened up January 15th. And he said, hey, I'm not going to play for Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. I'm going to stop playing here. I'm going to enter the portal, even though it doesn't open up for a month and a half. I would have said, yes, he quit on the team. But I'm going to say, no, he didn't quit on the team because of the calendar. That's probably one of the only reasons why I'm making that statement. Because the calendar kind of made him make his decision very quickly. He had his somewhat end of year conversation with Ryan Day, and I don't really want to say it's end of year because there is a bowl game, but coaches realize with the calendar the way that it is in the early signing day period and trying to finalize the high school recruiting that they're doing right now for this current class, they have to have these end of year meetings with players early. Kind of, hey, here's our end of the year. Here's what we think about you. Here's our evaluation of how you played. Here's our outlook and projection for next year. Kyle McCord realized, hey, I had a meeting with Ryan Day. Ryan Day's telling me that they're going to pursue a quarterback in the transfer portal, but he still wants me to stay at Ohio State. And I'm sitting here thinking, Kyle McCord, if I'm Kyle McCord and I did all this for you, no. I think the best thing for me, if I'm speaking as Kyle McCord, is to go to the portal and to see what other options are out there. Now, the reality of the situation is this. Kyle McCord can still come back to Ohio State if Ohio State has a scholarship available for him. That's something there as well. So, no, I don't think he quit on the team. I think he just used, because of the calendar, he decided, hey, as soon as that bad boy opens up, I'm in the portal, not doing any illegal tampering from other schools and reaching out to me, at least by me saying I'm going to be in the portal. They might still be reaching out. But I'm going to see what else is out there. See what else I can do. I ain't mad at him. I'm not. I am not in his shoes. My brother played college football. I believe he started at the D3 level and then moved up to the D1 AA level at not Purdue, no, at Butler University, still in the state of Indiana. And you know what? Hey, my brother was back when you had to sit out a year when you transferred. So my brother transferred from a school in Kentucky to a school in Indianapolis, Indiana. And what did he do? He had to sit out. It's what he had to do. These guys, it's a luxury. It's a huge benefit to them to be able to transfer schools and not lose eligibility. It's great for them. But no, I don't think Kyle McCord quit on the team. The calendar kind of forced his hand. The calendar of college football quickly forced him to change maybe his mindset about his future and say, oh, well, I thought after 3 years I would be a fourth-year player at Ohio State, but nope, I'm going to be somewhere else. And now we have seen reports where I thought Kyle McCord to Nebraska was basically a done deal, but then all of a sudden Dylan Raiola got into the picture, and that recruitment is weird too. I believe this kid played at 4 high schools in 4 years. If not 4, it was 3 in 4 years. Literally moved from Arizona to Georgia. What was it? Buford High School was getting recruited by Georgia. KJ Bolden, I do believe, was down there. I think he committed, was it Florida State? There was another player down there at that same high school that Georgia wanted. I forget if he committed to Georgia or not. Georgia wanted Raiola. They got a commitment from Raiola, but all of a sudden, that blood tie. His uncle is a D-line coach at Nebraska, just got a multi-year contract extension, got a payday. So I think that's what's actually happening. Hey, I understand if McCord didn't want to go to Nebraska for different reasons, but are you afraid to compete with Dylan Raiola? I don't know the whole story. I hope that's not true. I'm not here to say yes, it is, or no, or no, it's not. I don't know the full story, but it seemed like it was a done deal until all of a sudden it emerged and there were reports that Dylan Raiola to Nebraska might be a thing. Did Ohio State dodge a bullet with Raiola? I don't know. I hear there might be some baggage with him, but truly, I don't know. I just find it very, very odd and very weird that the kid has played at so many high schools, literally moved across country, and might go to a school all along where his uncle's been the coach. And I said it here on the show when he decommitted. I said, hey, Dylan Raiola to Nebraska just makes sense. It doesn't really take a rocket scientist to figure this out. It just makes sense for him to go to Nebraska with Matt Rule also being the head coach and Matt Rule being a phenomenal coach of his own. It might be, hey, go. I don't think Nebraska's a better quarterback factory than Ohio State. I don't think Nebraska's a better they don't have more wins, or not a more winning culture currently than Georgia. No. So if that was a move all along, why are we going back and forth? Doesn't make any sense to me. But no, back to the subject. No, I don't think Kyle McCord quit on Ohio State. I do not. I don't. If the calendar were different, like I mentioned, I would say, oh, yeah, Kyle McCord did quit. If he ended up saying, hey, yeah, December 4th, I am not going to be playing at Ohio State with Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. I'm going to be entering the portal. If the portal opened on January 15th, I would have said, oh, yeah, bro. Yeah. That's a bad look. That's a real bad look. One more game with your boys. No, not like you're preparing for the NFL. You're preparing to play for another team in college football. No, man. No. That would have been a bad look, but no, I don't think he quit on Ohio State. Absolutely not. Unfortunately, we got to quit and end this show. It's the last show of the week. I love being here with you. Got more shows coming up next week. Trust me, we'll be talking Cotton Bowl down the road, but we might be having more quarterback conversations if Ohio State delays, or the player maybe keeps delaying the announcement that a player is going to commit to Ohio State and play quarterback at the school next year. You can follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at jstevens07. You can send all of your emails to jstevens317@gmail.com. Thank you for making Locked On Buckeyes your first listen or first watch of every single day. Now for your second listen of the day, go ahead and check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. It's the place for you to go to get all the news going on in and around the world of sports in 20 minutes every single day. Both Locked On Sports Today and Locked On Buckeyes, they're both a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am Dave Stevens here on a Friday. I'll see you next time, Buckeye fans.